Hello, this is Dana and welcome to my channel, The Orchid Hut. Thank you for taking your time today to watch one of my orchid videos. We have a bit of an unboxing today of new orchids, but it's not the traditional unboxing because these orchids were not shipped. They were actually purchased at nurseries in the Houston area. I was able to take some time yesterday to do that. I had been wanting to purchase a few new orchids, but you know, as I looked online at the usual places where I shopped, you know, there were all these warnings about shipment damage due to cold temperatures, and you know, you could let them know if you wanted the shipment delayed, and you know, however, if there was cold damage on your shipment, that you know, they wouldn't be doing replacements. So I took all of that into consideration, and I thought, you know, in Texas, there's just no way to know when to tell somebody to send the shipment. You know, we have 2 days with 30-degree temperatures, and then we can have 2 or 3 days with 60-degree temperatures. And with the way shipping is lately, so unpredictable. Even, you know, FedEx, if they tell you that you'll get it in 2 or 3 days, it really isn't. It's more like 7 to 10 days. So there really is no way to control where your orchid package would be between, you know, the place where it's sent from and your destination. So I just decided not to risk it during the winter anyway, and just go ahead and go to my local nurseries and see what I could find. And I actually found some really nice things. Now, I did have to really kind of scour and look and pick and choose and examine, because a lot of the orchids in nurseries right now, you know, they're difficult to care for, because unless you have like a controlled greenhouse where you can keep the temperatures sort of regulated, even nurseries have difficult times maintaining orchids in our up and down weather. But I did find some really nice things. They, with the exception of one, maybe two, they were all half price because they're out of bloom, sort of out of season right now. So that was great. So let's kind of go through what I purchased, and maybe you can tell from the tops of the boxes, maybe you can recognize a few things, but let's go ahead and pull these out and have a look. And we will start with, well, there's 5 altogether, but we will start with this one. Now, I did buy 2 lady slipper orchids, Paphia petalums. And this one, you know, again, you buy these orchids and you kind of look on top and you go, ooh, the media. But I am going to follow my own golden rule here and not repot this for a good 2 to 3 months. It does have a new growth right here, which is encouraging. I'll be watching for roots. If I see root development down there, I may add just a little bit of sphagnum moss to encourage that root growth, but I'm going to let that get underway before I attempt to repot this one. It has a name a mile long. It looks like it's a cross between about 4 different paths. So I'm just going to put this up. I have no idea what the bloom looks like on this one with all of these crosses. So it will be a surprise. It is a dark leafed lady slipper, but it has a lot of purple coloring on the side. There are, you know, a couple of leaves here that seem to be a bit bent, and then it was a little bit kind of wedged in with some other orchids, so I think the leaves may have gotten a bit bent, but they're not permanently damaged. You know, I'll try to set this one up to support these leaves and just keep an eye on it. It does seem like it might want a little bit of water here in the next couple of days. It did previously bloom, because I can see that the bloom spike was cut right there. So hopefully sometime in the coming year it will bloom for me again. Okay, so that's one. I do have two other very tiny lady slipper orchids that I've been nursing along. I purchased those online, did not realize they were going to be that small when they were shipped. So I've been sort of babysitting those very carefully over the last 6 months or so. They're a little bit harder to take care of when they're small. Okay, this is the second one. Vexilarium. And it looks like it's a primary hybrid. If I can find a picture of this one online, I'll put up a little photo of it when it blooms. It has bloomed previously because the bloom spike was cut right here. This one is a light green path, light green leaves. It has multiple growths on it, looks healthy, and you know, again, I'll just be watching this one. The media in this one does not look quite as old, so I can probably keep this one in the pot at least for the next year. Okay. Then the next one, and I have been wanting one of these for quite a while. This is Ludisia, and this one I believe is the Black Pearl Ludisia. It has very dark green, almost black leaves with white pinstripes. But if you get the light behind the leaves, they almost, the little pinstripes almost turn a pink color. It does have two bloom spikes on it. This plant is, I guess, more appreciated for its foliage rather than its blooms, but it does have little pretty white flowers when it blooms. This I thought was a relatively healthy specimen. If you attempt to order these online, sometimes you don't really get a good start to this plant. I have plans for this one to put it in more of a terrarium setup, but again, you know, not until it has several months to adjust to my environment. Okay, and then maybe you saw this one from afar. I have been also wanting one of these. It's been on my wish list for a while. This is Oncidium type orchid, but it's a twinkle. It has two bloom spikes. I do believe this one is going to be yellow and white. There was one in bloom already at the store, and it is fragrant, so I'm looking forward to that. The Fragrant Fantasy. Okay, and a cute little plant. When this one blooms, and after the blooms are gone, I will probably be putting this one on a mount. They tend to do really well that way, and it's small, so that's my future plans for this one. Cute plant, really looking forward to that blooming. Okay, and then the last one, you know, who can resist a Latoria type dendrobium with gigantic blooms? So let me get this a bit closer to the camera here. Absolutely gorgeous blooms. I think the thing that's special about this one is that even the back of the petals has the spotting. It really is attractive from all sides. These are somewhat nodding bloom clusters, so they tend to want to hang down a bit, and actually the best view of the open bloom is from the underneath side. This one is also a primary hybrid. Now, I think this tag is wrong from the research that I've done. Dendrobium Roytokanaga. But I don't think this cross information is right, because when I researched this dendrobium name, it's actually a cross between two species orchids. So I will put that up on the screen because I think this is a tagging mistake. Okay, so this plant has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 canes. They have progressively gotten taller and taller as the plant has matured. So the tiniest little seedling, and then the next year's growth, and the next year's taller and taller and taller until it's so tall it won't even, fit within the camera frame. But the top of the tallest cane actually has 2 more bloom spikes on the way. One from the top and then one from in between the leaves, as Latoria type dendrobiums often do. Okay, so this season I am going to be growing all of my Latoria type dendrobiums in the bay window in the house, more as house plants. And so we're going to be seeing how that goes. I think an advantage of a plant like this, if you're looking to branch out into different types of orchids, is that they do grow more straight up, so they don't take up a lot of space left to right. They take up more space up and down. And so in my bay window they're a good choice because they grow tall, and maybe with the exception of my little green apples dendrobium, it doesn't grow too wide. Okay, so those are my 5 new orchids. Really looking forward to seeing how they do in the coming year. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and the subscribe button will be coming up in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Thanks so much for watching, and talk to you next time.